Hey,
How's your foot?
good morning, good morning. Good. Okay, so we are going to start the form all over again from the beginning. And I want to do something very particular over the next 18 months. We're going to go through the form 3 times. This first time, we're going to focus just on the geometry. The second time, we'll add in the 13 energies. The third time, we'll add in the Chi path and the Xinyi and the Negong. So we're gonna take this at 3 different levels. So this first time through the form, it'll go from January today when we start through the end of June, and which is something like 40 sessions, and we'll go through the whole form in great detail and make sure everybody's got all this. Now, most of you have been through this before, not everybody. If you've been through it before, this will help solidify what you have learned over the past 6 months. If you're brand new, I hope this focus on the foundation level will reduce any confusion and make the learning process a little bit easier. So today we're going to work on move number 1. And in order to work on move number 1, I'm going to teach the class over this next 6 months as if none of you knew anything. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to put the recordings of this class up online, a special on the website and probably on YouTube too. And so the people we're going to be talking to there are going to be absolute raw beginners. So I'm going to act as if you guys are all raw beginners, and we're just going to take it from the beginning and work from there. Okay, raw beginners. The very first move is, in a way, one of the simplest moves in the form. But in another way, as my old master, Master Zhang, used to say, if you can get this first move, you will get all of Tai Chi. And after 40 years of doing this, I realized he was right. However, it's not going to seem that way from the beginning. It's going to be so simple. It's like, well, it's too simple, right? No, the subtleties in there touch on everything you need to learn about Tai Chi. So let me demonstrate what we're going to do, and then we're going to do some exercises in preparation for that move, and then we're going to learn the move. And tomorrow we'll add in the first third of the second move. The first move is called Kai Shi, which means opening move. The second move is Jinggang Dao Dui, which means Buddha's warrior pounds the mortar. And what do they mean by pounding the mortar? It's a foot mortar. All right, so it's a big hammerhead on a foot, and you lower the lever, and that pounds the mortar. So it's how they prepared their grain and rice. So the very first move looks like this. In fact, I'm going to do it twice. The first time I'm going to do it is the classic way you do it in Chen style. The second way I'm going to do it is the way you do it in Hunyan Chen style, which is what we're going to be learning, what we're going to be practicing. All right. So the older root stock from which this comes looks like this. That's it. All right? The Hunyan style is an elaboration of that. Now, they're both exactly the same move, and by the time we get done today, hopefully you'll understand how and why they are the same move. Okay, to get this move, you have to understand there's two ways to move your body. And in terms of Tai Chi, those are the right way and the wrong way. The wrong way to move your body is to stay up here in your head and kind of move your body from your head, right? It's a kind of dissociation from your own body. And it will make it almost impossible to do Tai Chi, because Tai Chi is built on a completely different platform. The easiest way to say it is it's built on the inside. Not the outside looking in, but the inside looking out. So one way to think about that is we're going to do a series of circles. But the circle's not done just with your mind looking down and say, okay, I'm gonna do circles. My mind, my eyes, my hands, I'm doing circles. No, the circles are inside yourself. So there are three basic sets of circles because there are three dimensions of space: front to back, side to side, and level. So we're going to go through the whole form and use that very simple idea to look at each of the movements and reduce them to those series of circles. You're going to learn those, and then when you go on to the intermediate stage, then we're going to elaborate on those and gradually turn them into real Tai Chi. So the first move is really just three circles front to back. All right? In fact, let's start with the old Chen style circle. All right? And I'm just going to talk about geometry, so we won't look at anything else except the geometry. And I'm going to turn a little sideways. All right? So you can see front to back in here. All right? Very simple, about as simple as you can get. I'm going to grab one of our sticks that we use to do warm-up exercises in Qigong and use the stick to help illustrate this. All right? So circle, circle, circle. Now we could, that's a reverse circle. All right, goes out in front, comes back in, goes down, out in front again, back in, goes down. Could go just the opposite way. All right. Now, old Chen style, Chen village Chen style, it's just one circle. So it's back and in and down. Hunyan is an elaboration of that, and it's an elaboration because it gives you more circles. So the whole idea is to practice these circles, because everything is built on circles and spirals in Tai Chi. So in Hunyan style, it starts with that reverse circle, and then there's a forward circle, And then there's another reverse circle. All right? Reverse, forward, and reverse. Boom. So if you've got your sticks, grab your stick. Let's do a few exercises. The stick that I've got here is a specially made stick for Tai Chi and Qigong. But you can also use a piece of wooden closet rod. This is the stick I used for 20 years. It works just fine. You can also use a shorter stick. So, for instance, you can use a rolling pin from the kitchen. Is perfectly fine. And you can do this just open-handed. So let's start with some forward circles. Now, I hope you notice as you're watching me, look for the details of what I'm doing, because the details make a big difference. One little detail you might pick up is I'm shifting my weight from foot to foot. In Tai Chi and Qigong, you never stand with your weight 50-50, because what happens is your whole lower body just stops when you do that. In fact, try this. Put your weight 50-50 on your feet. Exactly 50-50. Now move one foot. You can't do it. You have to have your feet moving, your weight shifting in order to move your feet. So you could do it just the opposite way, but the way we do it is when you're coming up, not just with the stick, but with anything. When you're coming up, you put your weight on the right leg. When you're going down, you put your weight on the left leg. Up on the right, down on the left, up on the right, down on the left. And then when you get comfortable with it, you sort of hardly even notice it, but you're shifting your weight all the time. And that encourages every single movement to be a whole body movement. Flex your ankles and your knees, your hips, your lower back, your chest and shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, everything. And reverse. So those kinds of circles, front to back circles, the front to back dimension, are called Li circles, L-I, Li circles. So, and we're going to go through the other two, the shoe circles and the ping circles. When you watch someone do Tai Chi, often the moves are quite complex. This first move we were doing was very simple. But what happens when you get to a move like this? How do you learn and remember that movement? Well, when you know the 3 circles, you can watch that movement and you can break it down in your head. Okay, first he did a ping circle, and then he did a shoe circle, and then he did this circle and that circle. So you've got a way of analyzing and understanding what someone is doing when they're doing a demonstration. All right. Let's go on to the other 2 circles. All right. Front to back circles are Li circles. But if you're moving in the side to side dimension, let me demonstrate a move. When you're moving in the side to side dimension, that's called a shoe circle. All right? It's pronounced like the shoes that you wear, but it's spelled XU. Side to side dimension. And so the exercise for that looks like this. Side to side. And reverse. And there's one more dimension, the level dimension. If we were using that in a Tai Chi move, I'll just use one of the moves we already did. It's a shoe circle. Side to side. Shoe circle. Ping circle. Level. Right? Level. Why are the hands this far apart instead of this far apart? Because you're controlling somebody's forearm. Right? Boom. So the exercise with the stick for that is to go level. And reverse. Boom. All right? Okay, you can put your sticks down. You don't have to have the sticks to do the exercises. All of Tai Chi and Qigong is made up of circles, and you don't use sticks. You just move your hands. So the foundation movement exercises in Tai Chi are still those 3 exercises, just open-handed. The stick, I think, helps to sort of illustrate what you're doing. But in fact, just open-handed circles are fine. These are forward Li circles. or reverse Lee circles. And I hope you can see it's my whole body doing this. I'm not just doing this with my arms. It's the whole body. Or side to side. Shoe circles. And reverse. And shift your weight. Or the level dimension, ping. Ping is a Chinese word, it means level. So you're in the ping dimension, level. And reverse. Good. Okay, you need to memorize those three names because I'm going to be using them all the time and I'm not going to redefine them all the time. So, front to back circles are Li circles, Li. Side to side circles are Shu circles, XU. And level circles are Ping circles, Ping. All right? Watch me do a move and see if you can pick the circles out. Now, the truth is, when you're doing Tai Chi, rarely do you get a perfect Li or a perfect Shu or a perfect Ping. They're all sort of variations of those three sort of idealized circles. Nevertheless, you should be able to get the basic idea. And the more advanced version of this is you start to realize most of the circles in Tai Chi are hybrids. They're 60% Li and 40% Shu, right? Or something like that. In fact, there's always all three circles in there, hidden in there somewhere. But you get the basic idea, all right? What is this? Jill, what is this?
That's a shoe circle.
It's a Shu circle. It's a side to side circle, all right? What is this?
That there's a ping.
Ping.
Yeah.
And a little Shu in there.
Yeah.
All right? What is this?
It's another shoe.
Another Shu. What is this?
That's a ping. Ping. Oh, yeah. The dimension is
And there's a little ping in there. All right? And there's actually a little Li in there too. But you get the idea. You get these sort of idealized three directions, and then you gradually learn how to work with them. Okay, we're going to go on and learn this particular first move. But before we do, I want to give you the great secret of Tai Chi. And give me just a moment, I have to go get it over here. This is the great secret of Tai Chi. This is a wooden ball made from cherry wood that a friend of mine made for me. And it represents the heart of the energy body. Your physical heart, of course, is up here, but the heart of the energy body is at the navel. And it's because you have this ball bearing in the middle of your body, this is where all the movement starts and ends up. So if I'm going to do a Lee circle, a front to back circle, it's because this is turning, right? Back to front or front to back. I'm turning that ball in my abdomen. Or if I'm doing a shoe circle, it's because the ball is turning to the left or to the right. Or if I'm doing a ping circle, it's because the ball is turning left or right in a level manner. This is called the dantian. The dantian is your energetic heart, right? And it's sort of fixed right behind and just a tiny bit below the navel. All right? This is what you have to have your mind on all the time. It takes a few years to get to that point, but you need to focus on this ball. And then I'm going to mark that spot. Right below the navel, right? The movement starts from here. If this doesn't move, your body doesn't move. If you want to move your body, you move it from here. Catherine, what kind of circles are these? Shoe circles. And in reverse. All right? Or level circles. It's turning in a level manner. Or reverse. One of the reasons that Tai Chi and Qigong look so effortless and graceful is because you're not moving the body from up here. This is not the center of the body. This is on the periphery. This is the center of the body. And when you focus on the center, move the body from the center does the work. The whole rest of your body can relax and just follow the center. You just stay very relaxed. Or if you were moving in the front to back, the back dimension, right? Now the dantian, the ball in the abdomen, right, is going to be spinning from your back to your front. Back to your front. And the body just relaxes and follows that rhythm. And reverse. And now the ball's spinning backwards. Now, Tai Chi is a martial art. We're not going to learn it essentially as a martial art. We're going to learn it as an energetic art. Very few of us really need to become martial artists, but everybody needs their energy body. So I said, if you allow your mind to activate your dantian, and the dantian determines the movement, the rest of the body just relaxes and follows. Well, how can that be a martial art? It just seems too floppy, right? And a lot of people do Tai Chi too floppy, right? You're just sort of floppy. Well, it's not really floppy. It's relaxed. There's a difference between floppy and relaxed. If you get online and look up African black panther, watch a black panther move through the jungle. It's not floppy, but it's very relaxed. It's the same thing. It's a kind of animal relaxation. It doesn't mean it's floppy and boneless. It just means it's relaxed and confident, right? And if you need to turn it on like a black panther, you can. Right? So you can do it very soft, which is a good way to practice because it helps you collect energy, become more energetic. Or in just an instant, you can become a little tougher. Right? How can you become tougher in an instant? It's because you're relaxed. If you're not relaxed, if you have stiff places in your body, it's hard to turn the energy on. But if you stay relaxed, right, you're just very relaxed, boom, and then suddenly you can exert some energy. That's for much more advanced. Okay, let's learn the first move of the form, Kai Shi, 3 circles, reverse, forward, reverse. Remember that. Every time we do a movement, and this is a very simple movement, the next movement's much more complex. I'm going to give you a script. Remember the script, because if you don't, you'll forget the move. All right? Here's the script. Reverse, forward, reverse. That's the basic idea. You're not trying to get all the bells and whistles. You just need to get the basic geometry this first time through. The same is true of the whole form. You're just going to get the basic geometry. Believe me, that will be plenty enough. After you have that, and you've got the whole form, and you practice, so that basic geometry is not just in your mind, it's in your muscles. Then you can go in and start to refine it. And that's what we'll do in the second intermediate Tai Chi and the advanced Tai Chi. All right? So, all right. Start with your feet together. Bring your weight to the left, all right? Bend your right knee just a little bit. And then don't go out sideways. Go out a little forward and circle around. So now your feet are about shoulder width apart. You're comfortable. It's not like this, you know. It's not like this. It's just a comfortable standing stance, like you're just standing and talking to somebody. Your toes are maybe open just a little bit, all right? Not a lot, but they're not exactly straight either. They're open just a little bit. All right? Flex your ankles and your knees. Flex your back. You're flexible. You're relaxed. All right? And you begin with a very small circle. All right? So I'm cheating. Actually, there's 4 circles in here. It's a small circle. Back and down, back and down. And then a big circle, again, back, and then push out. Small circle, big circle and push out. Small circle, big circle and push out. Now, if you were going to use this in the martial arts, you might, the more advanced way of doing this looks like this. We're not going to do that, because every time you do that, you're throwing some energy out of your body into the world. And this is about gaining and retaining energy. So just very soft. But you notice my hands open a little bit, like I'm pressing down on something. Like I'm feeling out in front of me. Master Zhang used to say, it's like a cat's whiskers. Right? Why do cats have whiskers? Because they're night hunters. They need those long whiskers to give them information about what's on either side. So the whiskers are sensory organs. So are your fingertips. They're reaching out. They're feeling. They're not all stiff. Right? They're just feeling what's out there. So your consciousness is in the tips of your fingers. Palms of your hands. Tips of your fingers. All right? Next circle is forward. Palms of your hands. Tips of your fingers. Now, reverse. Now we're going to do a forward circle. That's a much bigger circle. So you notice in the elaboration in Hunyan Qigong, you're getting different size circles too. The circles are very simple. They're almost purely, they are purely Li circles, but they're very different sizes. Tiny. 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 That kind of circle is just like spinning the stick backwards once. All right? You just roll that circle and go down. The next one, pretty big. Right up to your shoulders, sink and push out right where your heart is. Huh? 1, 2. Relax, relax. Come up your back, down your front, back to your Dan Chen. So now that's the whole, that circle's this big. So the first circle's this big. The second circle's this big. The third circle's this big. Reverse. Reverse. Forward. And the final circle is a repetition of the second one. Sink. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Reverse circle, press down. Reverse circle, push out. Forward circle, pull down. Reverse circle, press down. Reverse circle, press down. Reverse circle, push out. Forward circle, pull down. Reverse circle, press down. Okay, that's the script. If you have not written it down, write it down as soon as the class is over. And I'm serious about this. This is a very simple movement. Let me show you the next movement and you'll know why you need to write this down. Here's the next movement. We'll do this tomorrow. Right? If you don't write the script down, you will never remember all that. So write the script down and use it as a guide to help you remember, and then you have to practice. With Qigong, which is the foundation of Tai Chi, you don't have to practice outside of class. Nothing wrong with it, it'll help. But you can get your practice inside of class. But that's not true with Tai Chi. You've got to practice outside of class because otherwise you will absolutely get swamped. All right? That move then goes on. That's the first 5 moves of the 24 moves. And it will take us the rest of January and probably into February to get all those. We'll go through them very slowly. and we'll learn them point by point, and I will give you a script for each of them. Write the script down, and between the classes, practice. That makes all the difference between getting this and not getting it. It's like learning to play the piano. You have to become one with the keyboard. That takes a number of years, but the only way to get there is to spend time on the keyboard. And it's exactly the same with Tai Chi. Okay, questions? No questions. Okay, you're totally intimidated. Good, I'm glad. Okay, so you've got the script. Practice between now and tomorrow. We'll start tomorrow by doing the form. As much as we know, the first move. I'll do the first one or two, and then each of you will lead the group. So you need to be ready to do that. All right, practice between now and then. Okay, guys, have yourselves a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.